She has been dominant in the world of tennis. Since turning 30 years old, she's won 10 major titles, which is 7 more than any other woman in the Open era. Stephen A.
No. Him. Oh, I want to hear.
Well, no, that's what I was going to say. Hold on. While you were off, we discussed Serena. I'm just preparing. I just want to prepare you for it. I'll just say he ruffled some feathers, and I'll leave it with that.
Yeah, people got mad at me, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
We want to revisit now that obviously we have you with Serena potentially hanging up. Is Serena the GOAT?
Well, first off, let's remember one thing. But by this performance last night, she is not going to make a run at the U.S. Open. Okay. She's been awful. And last night's performance, she's played 3 matches in a year, and she's 41 years old in September. What do you expect? I mean, it's unfortunate, but she has not played well. So that's number one. Number two, nobody said that you can't argue that she's the GOAT. My argument was that with Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf, Graf won 22 Grand Slams and won the single-season Grand Slam, won all 4 majors in the same year, which Serena never did.
Yeah, but Serena has 23. But
22 for Graf.
Yeah.
And Martina, pound for pound, I've been watching women's tennis since 1970, is still, in my estimation, the best pound for pound player in the history of tennis, women's tennis. Now listen, if Stephen A. wants to sit here, if Molly wants to sit here, if Johnny McEnroe, who I love, wants to say that pound for pound, they have every right to say it. Yeah. But to sit there and say there isn't an argument with Martina and Steffi up there with Serena as the greatest women's tennis player of all time, you're nuts. As I've said this before, how are you going to compare? Let's just take Martina. Who are the 3 best players with Martina in her era? Graf, Chris Evert, and Monica Seles. Yeah. Those are 3 top 10, 3 top 10 in the history of women's tennis. They're in the 3 top 10, even maybe 3 top 6, 3 top 7. Who are the 3 greatest players that Serena has been involved with in the last 20 years? Anna, Clijsters, and her sister. Those 3 are not a patch on Evert, on Steffi, and on Seles. The competition level in the 80s for those were far significant than the competition level for Serena. Now, people are going to say, well, it's because Serena was so good that nobody could shine. Well, when Serena hasn't played in the last 3 or 4 years, who shined? Sharapova's been awful. Osaka quit. Who shined? It's not like somebody's picked up the mantle in Martina's era, and you're talking she lost 8 times in the finals to Seles, Graf, Tracy Austin, who was great, and Chrissy, 8 times.
Who lost 8 times?
In the finals, Martina.
Okay.
Into those 8, that's 8 finals.
Okay.
Those are 3 or 4 the greatest players in the history of women's tennis. Serena never lost to that quality of player in a big spot. That's why it's arguable if her in the top 3. Your turn.
You saved yourself. Because I'm not going to refute your argument that it's arguable. Because Martina Navratilova was the real deal. We understand that. We get all that. Steffi Graf, Monica Seles. Yeah, I know a little bit of tennis myself. I don't watch as much as you, but I've enjoyed it.
Good for you.
I've attended some of these U.S. Open matches in my lifetime.
In suites, I'm sure, correct?
Of course. I ain't trying to sit in those. Oh, no, I mean, that's just the way it goes. I'm going to be in the suite. That's just how it is. Okay? But I will tell you, I understand your point. 23 Grand Slam titles. Okay? Second only to Margaret Court in the history of tennis. To my knowledge, the only woman who won a championship pregnant.
No, Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley did.
Did she do that?
Yes, she did.
Okay, I did not know that. Thank you for educating me. I did not, honest to God. Sometimes I forget these things. I did not know that at all.
Well, that's before your time.
I say, okay, I know some things before my time, though, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. But damn it, she ain't mentioned in the same sentence as Serena Williams. But in that category, fine. So Serena Williams was one of 2 women that won a championship pregnant, okay? That's number 2. Number 3. When we talk about world ranking as number 1, she trails Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf on that list. She's like about 319 weeks. I think they're like 332, 377, something like that between the both of them. Fair enough. When you talk about the competition, it's because she shattered the damn competition. It's similar to the argument that one would make about LeBron versus Michael Jordan. When they talk about LeBron James, they talk about some people say he's the greatest, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. But there have been times where we've looked at Kevin Durant and other players and we say, no, we think they're the greatest. It's debatable. Whereas with Michael Jordan, it was never a debate. We knew everybody knew exactly who the hell the greatest player in the world was. It was unquestionably the truth. It was undeniable, okay? That's been the case with Serena Williams, particularly in her prime. And so what I'm saying to you, when you take that into consideration, the level of dominance, the fact that there was no peer, that there really was no equal, that it was her far head and shoulders above the crowd. And then you take into account some of the adversity that hits. Now, I'm not throwing shade on Martina Navratilova and, what she had to deal with. We understand her trials and tribulations. America wasn't as receptive. The world wasn't as receptive to gays and lesbians and what have you. And kind of the nonsense that they had to deal with and endure was unquestionably unfair and very difficult for them to deal with. Nobody's denying that. But when I think about Serena Williams, I wouldn't compare it to a Muhammad Ali compared to what he had to deal with. But being an African-American young lady from Compton, L.A., and having to deal with some of the nonsense, the way she looked, the way she dressed, the way she talked, the way she acted, scrutinized at every damn turn in a sport as rigid as tennis, to me, which is only comparable to golf, in terms of the rigidity that exists in their sports. All of those things I take into consideration. And the fact that she won, in spite of that stuff, hey, man, for me, Serena Williams warrants consideration on the Mount Rushmore of sports. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.